In the grand chessboard of global politics, a new and significant alignment has taken shape. This is the informal but increasingly potent partnership between Russia, China, and Iran. Russia, China, Iran. It is not an alliance born of shared values or a common cultural heritage, like the transatlantic bond between the United States and Europe. Instead, it is what one might call an axis of convenience. A pragmatic grouping of nations united by a common adversary, the Western-led international order. Each of these three powers feels constrained, sanctioned, or threatened by the West. Their cooperation is a direct response, a calculated effort to create a multipolar world, where American influence is diminished and their own spheres are secure. This alliance is fundamentally revisionist in its nature. Moscow, Beijing, and Tehran each seek to revise rules they see as biased toward Washington. Together they form a bloc that, while not formally codified, presents a coordinated challenge. The primary glue holding this trio together is a shared sense of grievance. By pooling resources, sharing intelligence, and coordinating diplomatic stances, they push back against Western pressure. This is transactional, mutual survival over ideology. The formation of this axis is one of the most significant geopolitical developments of the 21st century, a shift from the unipolar moment to a more contested world. Understanding this pragmatic, anti-hegemonic alignment is crucial to navigating today's turbulent international waters. One of the most tangible areas of cooperation is the creation of a parallel economic system, designed to be resilient to Western sanctions. For years, the United States and allies have used control of the global financial system as leverage. The dollar's dominance and the SWIFT banking network are central to that leverage. Access to Western markets and financial systems has been used to punish those who defy norms. This axis is building alternative economic plumbing. China, with its massive economy and technological prowess, sits at the heart of this re-engineering. When Russia faced unprecedented sanctions after 2022, China stepped in as an economic lifeline. It increased purchases of Russian oil and gas, providing vital revenue to Moscow. In return, Russia depends more on Chinese goods and technology. China is a major buyer of Iranian oil, defying US sanctions and keeping Tehran afloat. Sanctioned states find ready markets for their primary exports. The trio is actively working to de-dollarize bilateral trade. Settling transactions in yuan and rubles reduces exposure to dollar-based sanctions. They are exploring alternatives to SWIFT. The goal is to build financial plumbing immune to Western political pressure, ensuring trade and investment continue regardless of sanctions. If successful, it would blunt the West's most effective non-military weapon. This development could reshape global commerce for decades, creating a parallel economic sphere less vulnerable to Western pressure. Next, they're growing military cooperation and strategic alignment. Beyond the economic sphere, the alliance is defined by growing military and strategic cooperation. This collaboration aims to enhance defense capabilities and project power regionally. It presents a more credible counterweight to the United States and its allies. Joint naval exercises, technology transfers, and selective support are increasing. They have demonstrated the ability to operate together far from home. Technology transfers and arms logistics underpin practical cooperation. A prime example: Tehran has supplied Moscow with combat drones. Relatively inexpensive, effective loitering munitions have been used in Ukraine. They have targeted infrastructure and compensated for dwindling precision munitions. Those transfers are strategic acts, supplying hardware and gaining battlefield data. Russia gains weapons, Iran gains operational feedback on air defenses. Public displays of cooperation solidify their partnership. They conduct trilateral naval exercises, often in the Gulf of Oman and Arabian Sea. These drills signal capability to operate in strategic choke points. They challenge long-standing maritime dominance of the U.S. Navy. The alignment extends into intelligence sharing and coordinated diplomatic posturing. In institutions like the UN Security Council, Russia and China provide diplomatic cover. That coordination can paralyze Western-led initiatives. From drone factories to joint patrols, their military cooperation is the most direct challenge to a West police security environment. Joint patrols in the Indian Ocean show an ability to operate beyond regional waters. Finally, the alliance's limits and uncertain future. Despite momentum, the Russia-China-Iran partnership has significant limitations and fragilities. Its pragmatic, transactional nature is both a strength and a weakness. The long-term interests of the three nations are not perfectly aligned. China is the senior partner, an economy dwarfing Russia and Iran combined. Both Moscow and Tehran grow dependent on Beijing, a reality that could breed resentment. Russia, historically a great power, finds itself in a junior role, a source of friction. China's economic ties to Gulf rivals of Iran force a delicate diplomatic balancing act. Beijing's need for stability can constrain its support for Tehran. Military support is selective and conditional. For Beijing, economic growth still trumps deep military backing. Support is conditional. It can be withdrawn if costs exceed benefits. That makes this axis less reliable than formal treaty-bound pacts. Two broad scenarios: continued strengthening into a more formal economic bloc, greater military interoperability and parallel institutions, or the alliance could fracture under its internal contradictions. A resolution in Ukraine, leadership change, or successful Western outreach could weaken the glue. Political change in any member state would shift regional priorities. Diplomatic cracks would expose the limits of tactical cooperation. The trajectory of this axis of convenience remains one of the most critical and unresolved questions in global affairs today. Subscribe for deeper analyses of geopolitics and join us next time for scenario breakdowns and policy implications.